The village of Ekulobia was abuzz with the latest developments in Onyinye's life. The sun had barely risen when Onyinye's father, Chief Nwankwo, summoned his daughter to make a decision about her future. The previous day had been a whirlwind of emotions, a grand display of her mistakes and a final judgment from the ones she had wronged. Onyinye, despite her initial bravado, could feel the weight of her father's disappointment. Chief Nwankwo called Onyinye into his study, a grand room filled with artifacts and their heirlooms that reflected his success. He looked at her with a mixture of sadness and resolve. Onyinye, he began with a deep voice that echoed in the quiet room. You have caused so much pain. You deceived Chinedu, a man who cared for you deeply. I have made a decision that I believe will teach you the lesson that you deserve. Onyinye braced herself for what she was about to hear. Now, since you have decided to choose Emeka and he has left you, you will now go back to Chinedu. You will work for him and repay all the money he spent on you. You must repay your debt. You know me, I am an old soldier and I don't tolerate rubbish. Now, you will have to live with him and work in his shop until you have made amends for what you have done. You will have to pay for all you have collected for him. And how will you do that? By working for him in his shop. The shock of her father's decision hit Onyinye like a tidal wave. She had hoped for forgiveness or at least a path to reconcile her love with Emeka. But her father's decision was harsh and unequivocal. With a heavy heart, she packed her belongings the next day and headed to the city, as per her father's instructions. The journey was long and filled with thoughts of what could have been. When Onyinye arrived at Chinedu's residence, she was met with an indifferent reception. Chinedu, having been informed of her arrival, greeted her with a cold formality that contrasted sharply with the warmth of their past. He led her to a small room in his house, the maid's room, a far cry from that which she had during their courtship. Onyinye felt that she would receive all the benefits and entitlements, but now she saw that Chinedu meant business. It was clear that the grand lifestyle she once enjoyed was now out of reach because Chinedu was now a changed person. Chinedu's treatment of her was stark and unyielding. He no longer saw Onyinye as a beloved partner, but as someone who owed him. She was to work in his shop, a position that was far beneath the privileges she once took for granted. The role of a sales girl was a new and humbling experience for Onyinye. She was like, how will a graduate like me even think of being a sales girl? Anamaga n'enu ka anamaga n'ana, meaning, am I going up in life or am I coming down? She had never worked in such capacity before, but she had to do it. Determined to gain her previous status, Onyinye tried to reach out to her previous suitor, Emeka. Each day, she called him on phone. Sometimes, she would call him and give him up to 100 missed calls, hoping that he would call her back. But Emeka's phone was either switched off or ignored. He did not respond to her messages, and the silence only compounded her anguish. Each unanswered call reminded her of her lost love and all the things she had done for Emeka while they were in school. The next day, at work, Chinedu's behavior was a constant reminder of their strained relationship. Before then, Onyinye was already ready for the shop. She walked sluggishly to Chinedu's car and opened the front door. But she was dismissed with a cold remark. Chinedu shouted on her. He said, "Onyinye, what nonsense is this? When did this one start? Are you crazy or something?" Odikisha Rogima, meaning it's like your head is not correct. "My friend, will you take keke to the shop immediately and make sure I don't get there before you?" Ekwensu, which is an Igbo word meaning devil. Onyinye's frustration boiled over, but she had no choice but to comply. She watched as Chinedu left in his car, leaving her to navigate the bustling city streets in a keke, a far cry from the luxury she once enjoyed. At the shop, Onyinye found herself in a position of servitude, handling sales and customers' inquiries with no trace of respect or affection from the other servants, just like she had once had. Chinedu's office, once a place of personal conversations and intimacy, now felt like a cold, distant place. He frequently reminded her of her place, and any attempt she made to act as she once did was swiftly rebuked. On one occasion, she even went as far as sitting on his seat in the office, just as she would do before. But she was severely punished for doing that. Life was hell for Onyinye. Despite all this, Chinedu's painful memories of betrayal, he still had a part of him that still cared for Onyinye. Yet, his emotional wounds made it difficult for him to show any sympathy towards Onyinye. Sometimes he would even think about going back to her because he had deep feelings for her. He confided in his friend Ebuka and told him how he felt about the whole thing. But Ebuka warned him severely that this girl was after his wealth and never loved him. Chinedu fought this so hard. Months went by and Chinedu determined to move forward. One day, luck shone on him and he found love again. He found a young girl named Amaka. Amaka was a woman who loved him for who he was and not for what he could provide. Amaka was not only a graduate but also a compassionate and nurturing soul. She was a medical doctor. She encouraged Chinedu to pursue his dreams, including education. Under Amaka's guidance, Chinedu went back to school. He earned his degree in business management with a 2:1, an achievement that further propelled his success. With Amaka by his side, Chinedu built a new mansion, bought a luxurious car for her, and lived a life of happiness and fulfillment. Amaka's love transformed Chinedu. He grew more confident and content, and his success became a testament to their shared dreams. Their wedding was a grand affair, a celebration of true love and perseverance. Onyinye, however, was left to navigate her own path. The jealousy and regret consumed her as she watched Chinedu's life flourish with Amaka. She was still working in the shop, but her role felt more like a penance than a job. One evening, while cleaning the shop, Onye couldn't help but reflect on the choices that led her here. Her longing for what she had lost was palpable, and the contrast between her current life and the life Chinedu now enjoyed was a constant source of pain. She had learned the hard way that deception and honesty have a price. Onyinye had once thought herself superior, but now she understood the depth of Chinedu's pains and the true cost of her actions. The previous day, she had bumped into Emeka, her lover and suitor, in a mall. He already had a wife who was pregnant for him. Onyinye cried out and held Chinedu by his shirt. Emeka by his shirt. Emeka, after all I have done for you, this is how you pay me. You are a wicked man. God will punish you. Emeka's wife approached them and asked her husband, "Honey, what is going on? Who is she?" Emeka denied not even knowing Onyinye. He said, "I don't know her. She's just a drama queen," and they left her in the mall. Chinedu and Amaka continued to thrive, building a life filled with love and mutual respect. Onyinye was left to grapple with her past mistakes, and now she began to understand the true essence of love and the value of honesty. Though her journey was far from easy, Onye's experience became a lesson in humility and the consequences of deceit. She had lost love, respect, and status. But in her struggle, she found a deeper understanding of herself. In the end, Onye's story was not just about the consequences of betrayal, but also about the redemptive power of self-reflection and growth. Her life continued, marked by the lessons she had learned, and though she could not undo the past, she hoped to forge a future grounded in the values she had once neglected. Now, hope you enjoyed that beautiful story. Please click that subscribe button. Subscribe, like, comment, and share my videos always. Thank you. Bye-bye.